today, and we'll see how we are engaging in the same. So I hope you have your journals or papers or the color pencils, whichever color medium you're comfortable with. Okay, I don't have much on screen today. We'll be talking more and doing stuff more rather than going through certain PPTs. So already it's 4 o'clock. I'll be starting. It would be great if you can switch on your cameras because we'll be showing, whatever we are doing to others, and then we can get into a conversation, right? So it would be great if more people can come up with their videos. Okay, so today's conversation or today's interaction would be based on the contemporary therapies which are currently being practiced in psychological counseling or in therapies. So I'll just shortly share you a few pointers there. So we'll be venturing expressive therapies today. And before venturing into expressive therapies, I would like to talk about few other modalities which we generally come across or are in practice in India specifically. So CBT, behavior therapy. CBT is cognitive behavior therapy. Then behavior therapy. Talk therapy is the most common one which we used. Currently, solution-focused brief therapy is also being used. Then client-centered therapy has started taking up pace. All these therapies are widely used everywhere. Different therapists use different mediums, or they can have, a kind of a mix of most of the therapies together. Depending on what kind of disorder you are coming through, or whichever distress type you are coming through, you will be deciding upon a particular type of therapy and boarding on that, boarding your clients on that. Next is psychoanalysis. Now, psychoanalysis is a very, very elaborate technique. Very few people actually know about the procedurals of psychoanalysis. It takes approximately 7 to 8 years to get a certification or a license in to become a psychoanalyst, and it's only done in Calcutta. Okay, there is one institute which offers you psychoanalysis course, but for that you need to go through 100 hours of therapy yourself, and then only if you're suitable enough to carry on with this modality, you will be allowed to carry on with the course. So it's a very elaborate technique. Next are the upcoming techniques which are used right now very widely, which falls under the contemporary therapies, which are art, play, music, dance. Now we have animal assisted therapy as well, then hypnotherapy. So these are the modalities. Today specifically, we'll be looking into art and some pointers of music. Okay, so we'll be starting off with an activity soon. Okay, before I proceed to the activity part, right? So let's just discuss, what do you know about the contemporary therapies, or even any questions which you have regarding other therapy mediums? Any questions at this point of time? Whatever comes to your mind. And which all therapies have you practiced or you're willing to take up? Why, I'll tell you a little later. Any idea where you want to venture, what you want to do after your masters are over, which form of therapy you would prefer taking up? You must be studying the different modalities by now. Okay, CBT. What else? Art and play therapy. Great. What about the rest of you? Come on. What's your area of interest? Hypnotherapy. Okay. CBT again. Okay, no matter which area you want to specialize, it's very important that you pick up one specific field. Of course, you need to know about all the therapies, but if you really want to specialize in one particular area, it is better that you stick to that area and grow. Because many a times we see that if you have too many modalities, you may learn a lot of modalities, but when once you practice it, it would be good if you can stick to one modality and flourish in that, because then you become specialized in that particular area. Okay, and like being a doctor, they have different specifications. Some are neurosurgeons, some are cardiologists, some are gynaes. So they have different segregations. Similarly, for psychology also, you have segregations. You cannot have everything put together and then you'll end up doing nothing. So if you want to become a career counselor, focus on that. If you want to become an art therapist or a play therapist or a contemporary therapy practitioner, you can stick to those modalities. If you want to get into children counseling, get into that wholly. If you want to get into hypnotherapy, get into that wholly. It is always a good idea to be very specific from the very beginning. Of course, you need to learn a lot more than what you're specializing in, but it would be good if you stick to that medium, more or less almost all the time. Okay, it gives you a different edge to your career, because you'll get specialized and get more and more confident about that particular area of work. Okay, so any other questions I can take in before I proceed to the different techniques which I'll be looking into? Today specifically, we'll be looking into art-based therapies. Just to brief you what art-based therapies are, it is done in sync with other therapies. It may be done wholly in itself as well. Okay, art-based therapies incorporates art techniques or different art and craft techniques or any kind of expressive techniques in order to bring out your inner conflicts or bring out your inner self and put it down on paper through art mediums, through colors. Okay, there are two specific types. One is the expressive technique and the other one is the analytical technique in art-based therapy. So in expressive techniques, it's more like exploring yourself, finding out who you are and where you're lagging behind or what all things you need to improve. Whereas analytical art therapy is more about looking into all the pointers of your art, not actually evaluating your art as per the aesthetic sense, but evaluating your art for certain pointers into your personality. Okay, so different aspects of your artwork will be analyzed by the therapist who's trained in the same. But expressive techniques, it's more about expression, self-expression, how you're feeling, what you're doing, what is the best quality in you, what all problem solving have you taken up. Okay. Yes, Nikita, you have a question to ask?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Actually, ma'am, I just want to ask that I was not present in last two classes, but
Yes, Nikita, we
hello.
can hear you.
Yes, yeah. Actually, I was not present in last two classes, but I attended uh, those classes on YouTube afterwards. Ma'am, I just want to know, can I submit those assignments now also because earlier I was not
Yes.
in.
Yes, you can.
Is there any due date for those assignments?
Before the internship ends. So that is next to next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. So who else has a question? Anyone else has a question? You may unmute and ask. There was a queue here. Okay. Anyway, about an art and play therapy room. So now you must be wondering, how do I set it up and what all qualifications are required for these contemporary therapies? Let me tell you, in India, there is no procedure of licensing for psychologists. There is one for clinical psychology only. So if you're wanting to call yourself clinical psychologist, you can go through RCI, you can go through MPhil, and then get yourself registered as a clinical psychologist. Apart from which, there is no regulatory body. Okay, so make this a point. No matter who tells you, I'm giving you, this particular kind of diploma or degree, you can always go for it, but it will not be registered under the government of India. The government doesn't offer you. Whichever organization is offering you the so-called government thing, it is a private organization which has certain registrations, the trade license and all those things as a business, not under government of India. There is no licensing procedure till date. Okay, so many a times we are misled. Now, after doing diploma or certificate, am I eligible to practice contemporary therapies? No. You need supervision hours. You cannot call yourself an art therapist right after doing, say, 6 months ka diploma. You need to invest time. You need to practice under an art therapist who's already established in the field. You need to invest certain amount of hours. It is same for all modalities, not only art-based therapies, not only play-based therapies. In fact, all the therapies which we have, whether it's CBT or REBT or whichever, behavior therapy, anything, you have to have a supervision hour through which you have to go through. Maybe 2-3 years you have to invest in that, and then you can establish yourself in that field of work. Okay, so this is an overall viewpoint. Being a master's, you can always do diplomas, degrees after that, and get into practice, right? Now, coming on to the art-based therapy, we often use the mediums of art, music, movements, also not only dance but also movements, certain movements, into counseling sessions, into therapy sessions. We also include drama, we also include metaphor, we also include certain visualization, guided imageries, in order to come up with various techniques or various forms of understanding the client. Okay, one easy technique which we'll be doing right now. Okay, I'll be just giving you certain instructions. What you need to do is put it down on paper. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. If you want to become an expression therapist, it is not necessary that you have to be an artist or a dancer or anyone whatsoever. Okay, the process matters, the ultimate result doesn't matter. No matter how badly you draw, it is okay. We are not going to judge you. Art therapists never judge by the quality of the drawing. Okay, it is more of the process which you're engaging in. So right now, the technique which I'll be discussing is a very simple one. What you need to do is take a sheet of paper, a plain sheet of paper. Take some colors if you have. If you don't have, you can use a pencil. Okay. So ready? Draw as many circles, triangles, or squares on the sheet. I'll give you approximately, say, 2 minutes to work on it. If you want to color it, you're most welcome. Draw as many circles, triangles, and squares as you want. There's no limitation, no restriction, nothing. Okay? So whichever comes to your mind, you just keep on drawing within these three shapes. If you don't want to include any shape, it's up to you.
Ma'am, can you please repeat it? Actually, I was just
Yeah.
disconnected.
Draw triangles, circles, or squares, as many as you want, on a sheet of paper. You may or may not use colors, it's up to you. I might just put some music on. Most of you should be done by now, but still, there's another page to go with, okay? I've done this as is in the morning with few of my students, so I was doing it along with it. Once you are done, maybe you can start posting it in the group. I will open the group for you. Done? Once you're done, you can start posting in the group. I'm sending mine. Okay, the next set which you need to do is, this is one set. You can do it at the back side, or you can do it on a different sheet of paper.
Ma'am, where we have to post it?
In the group, in the internship group. I've opened it for you.
WhatsApp. Oh,
Yes,
WhatsApp
WhatsApp.
group.
Yes. Next is your cylinders, diamonds, and pyramids. Okay. Draw the same way, as many as you want, either on the back side or on a different sheet of paper. Cylinders, pyramids, and diamonds. Okay. Similarly, another 2 minutes for it. I'll post the next one as well. So we'll quickly wrap up even the second technique. So repetition, if in case you were not there, on the page, this will be your instruction even to the person whom you're conducting this on. On a blank sheet of paper, draw as many circles, triangles, or circles, triangles, or squares. And once the person is done, the same thing on a different sheet of paper, cylinders, diamonds, and pyramids. Give approximately 2 minutes to complete. They may color it, they may not. It's up to them. Coloring can give you additional information if you know the psychology of colors. If you don't know, avoid using colors. Just let them do it with pencil. Okay, I guess you all are done. Yes. Now what we do is the next step. Okay. Next step is important. Very carefully. This is a big task for people who have kept on drawing circles, circles, circles inside. So for y'all, you need to count each of the circles, triangles, and squares which are put on the sheet. Similarly, the same thing for cylinders, pyramids, and diamonds. Okay, so you're going to write it down on your sheet. And while you are writing, okay, no, I won't disturb you right now because you all are counting. So finish the task. Maybe I'll give you a minute to do the math. And you can write down on top of the sheet or at the back side, whichever is feasible. Once you are done, I will tell you which one is for what. Once you have totaled out the entire thing, see which are the predominant patterns which are coming up. Say, for instance, if you look at mine, I have 24 circles and only 8 triangles and even lesser of squares, 4 squares. Okay, so my predominant thing is circle. In the next page, if you go to that, it's more of cylinders I have rather than diamonds or pyramids. Pyramids are the least. So we look into which one is occurring more. Okay, the frequency is more. Which shape is occurring more, the maximum. So who are the triangle people over here? Okay.
16 triangles I have.
How many? 16.
16, yeah, and 11 circles and 13 squares.
Okay, you can see it's more or less in sync with each other. It's not that one is extremely more than the others. Unlike mine, circles are 24, triangles are 8, and squares are 4. So you can see the disparity. One is a very predominant one. So you may or may not have this pattern. Most of you will have what Nikita has. More or less balanced out, but one will be more than the rest. Okay. So let's see. Who are the triangle people? Come on, put your videos on. Everyone on the screen.
Mine are like 10 circles and 9 triangles. So more or
Okay.
less it's on the same
Yes.
line.
And what about squares?
Squares have five only.
Okay. Okay. Now, who are the circle people? I'm there. Circle, more of circles. Okay. And what about squares? Squares are very rare to find. Predominant squares are very rare to find. I'll tell you why. See, this technique which we are doing is basically interpretive art analysis, where we are interpreting our art. Okay, it's not about expressing anything. I just instructed you. It's a very directive technique. It's not a non-directive technique where I just give you basic instructions and then you work according to your own will. Here I'm binding you to certain rules. Sometimes it's a quick fix to know your client well. Whenever they are coming to you and you don't know their personality type, or you don't know exactly how they function, or they are not opening up too much, you can try this out. This is a very quick method of understanding the other person who's sitting next to you. Okay, I'll give you the meanings now for this particular thing. Triangles are goal oriented, high aspirations, competitive, ambitious. Okay, triangles are more or less that personality type. Now, whenever I discuss a very strong point, I also discuss the flip side of it. What can be the negative aspect of it? Who can tell me, if you have a lot of triangles, too many triangles in your drawing, how can it affect you or your personality? What is the negative aspect of this? Whatever I read out, goal oriented, high aspiration, and competitive and ambitious are more or less the positive aspects of a person. But when can it become a trouble?
Making rash decision,
Okay.
taking a lot of risk.
Mhm. Taking a lot of risk. If you're very goal oriented or highly ambitious and extremely competitive, what happens at that point of time? How does the person start functioning?
Stressful and self-centered.
Yes, stressful, it's self-centered. What else?
May lead to depressiveness in kind.
Why? Yes, why?
If the goals are not achieved the
Yes.
way he or she wants to.
Fear of failure, high anxiety. High functioning anxiety people will generally display a lot of triangles. Too much. When I'm talking about too much, means you cannot find parity between the three. Okay, so disparity in triangles, like if it's too dominant, then these problems may surface. Okay, that's the way you are analyzing. Okay, next is circles. Circles are people who are friendly, harmonious, avoids conflicts. I was pretty surprised seeing this because I'm more of the practical kind. Maybe I try to be, but when I drew it, it's more like circles I've drawn. So there's a conflict. I'm coming to the conflict of who you are and what's your inner trait. These, what I'm describing, are your inner traits. Okay, this is how you are functioning as an individual. But over the course of time, you may be just modifying it. So we'll try to figure out what are the modifications which we have come across throughout our lives. Okay. So circles are people who are friendly, harmonious, avoids conflicts. It is fine to an extent that it's balanced. But what happens when it's too much? Like in my case,
Too much empathy for the clients.
too much of over involvement, maybe. What about the other aspects? Avoiding conflicts is a very negative thing if it's
Ma'am,
overdone.
diplomatic in nature because
Yes,
they are avoiding conflicts.
diplomatic in nature, fear of authority figures. It's a very important aspect. I have had this peritoneal problem of being intimidated by authority figures. I have had this problem for a very long time. Maybe it still needs working on. Okay, so avoids conflict means you are a people pleaser. You tend to please everyone around you. You don't know how to draw boundaries. Okay, saying a no. It is very important to say no when you're stressed, when you're overloaded with work, or when you don't want to do certain things. But people with dominant circles may have a problem pleasing others. They are busy pleasing others rather than being very satisfied with themselves. They're scared of being criticized by other people or face criticisms, or they're overwhelmed by others' remarks or comments. And they keep on thinking how to, keep everything around them in a very harmonious way. Okay? So this is one thing. The last one is square. So for squares, it is more of self-controlled, methodological, practical, and down to earth. Now again, if you find a lot of squares in your drawings, how would you come to a conclusion? What is the flip side of this? Self-control is good, down to earth is good, practical is good, methodological is good, but when it's too much, what happens then?
You avoid
Rigidity.
taking risks.
Okay. Too much of self-control, what will happen to the person?
Ma'am, they'll not be able to empathize with others because they are maybe too self-centered in that way.
Self-control
Or too practical because of which they will not be able to sympathize or empathize with.
okay, yes, they'll always think with their heads rather than their heart, and it's the
And they
exact
might not be flexible in their methods, so they won't be able to adjust to the demands of the client.
okay, very good, yes, fine. If an overwhelming situation comes when the client is always crying and trying to vent out, that can be very for therapists I'm talking about, that can be a challenge for them to accept. Yes, Nikita?
Maybe they will not be able to express their emotions easily.
Yes, rigidity, emotional blocking, of course. If you're too down to earth, what's going to happen? People will take advantage of you. If you don't know how to, put your foot down, if you're too humble, too kind, people start taking advantage. So you have to delve into that area, like whether the person has been hurt or cheated by other people, how the person feels about it. Too much of self-control can be indicators of OCD. Too much of self-control, everything should be perfect, perfectionist, methodological. So if you have too many squares all around, okay, these concepts can be applied in other drawing analysis part also, not only particular to this. Whichever they have drawn or expressed on, you can find these particular shapes and symbols and then try to interpret. Okay, any questions? Otherwise I'll move on to the next part.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any connection, like my shapes were somehow interlinked, and a lot of people drew they separately. In my drawing, they were separate and intermingled as well. So, is there any interpretation for that thing?
See, interlinking has certain interpretation because it generally shows a kind of layering. Interlinking is also found in my drawings, if you see a lot of overlaps. So wherever there is overlap, there is some kind of layering where the person may be having trouble expressing, or there is a tendency to bottle up emotions or hide certain things. There are different layers to that person. When you analyze yourself, you may feel that yes, I'm somewhat like this with a set of people and somewhat like that with a different set of people. So it's more like you're molding yourself to different situations, never actually being totally yourself.
Thank you.
Okay. So coming to the next three: cylinders, diamonds, and pyramids. I hope you've got the hang of it, how to analyze the thing. So cylinders are again practical and calm in difficulties. This is the difference. Difference between squares and cylindrical shapes. Okay, squares and rectangles fall under the same category, And cylinders, anything cylindrical will resemble a very practical nature with being calm in difficulties. You tend to take decisions properly. Okay, you are generally calm in that particular area whenever there are difficulties. Diamonds, efficient and goal oriented. Okay, they are self-sufficient. They're efficient in their work and goal-oriented. They have certain aims, aspirations, and they work towards it. And pyramids are more of the spiritual or religious kind. So there are three different segregations to this. Pyramids more of the spiritual nature, diamonds more of the efficient and goal-oriented, and cylinders are more of practical and calm in difficulties. Now, when you match these two, if you further go on matching these two, you will see that there may be discrepancies between who you are and what is being presented on the paper with the analysis. You need to find out what has actually enabled you to become like that. There are certain instances. Okay, say for instance, a person who has drawn circles, but on the outside or currently is very practical by nature. It's more of the square kind or the triangle kind. Okay, what has actually led to change the dynamics of his or her personality? Try to figure out, and whenever you're implementing in the therapy sessions, when you're finding out certain discrepancies, try to figure out what has led to the behavior, the antecedent behavior, as we do in behavior therapy. What is the antecedent factor which led to the changes in the person? Whatever you have put on paper is your core personality type, or that's the way you generally function. But if there are discrepancies, try to figure out what has gone wrong or what went wrong in order to change the person completely. That can be a major cue into your counseling sessions whenever you are taking up counseling in problem solving. Okay, any questions? So this is a very, very quick technique which you can try it out with anyone. In fact, it's not only that you have to have a psychological psychologically distressed person, only then you can do it. It can be done on anyone. Practice it more often so that you get the hang of analyzing. I've sent the different meanings of the different shapes. Okay, so you can just copy paste and keep it noted. Now I'll just give you a brief overview of colors as well. This you can keep it as a reference. Yes, Manjiva, you have questions to ask?
Yeah, my shapes are same in size. Like I draw 24 circle, 24 triangle, and 24 squares. So what does it mean?
So all are equally present on your paper. That's pretty interesting. Okay, all are equal. See, equality is basically what was the second page? Which one was it? The second page, which one was dominant?
Same. Those are also
Same again. Cylinders,
yes, ma'am.
diamonds,
Yes, ma'am.
pyramids,
Six
same
cylinders
exact.
we can have. Yes, ma'am. 6 pyramids.
That's like magically created, I
my.
guess. Okay. See, similarity. I haven't come across anyone who has had the exact same number of circles or whatever shapes are there. But in case you have come across this, it generally means that there is a confused state of mind. You don't have a predominant style. Okay, it's more like molding yourself to different situations, being there everywhere. There's a confusion state. Try to analyze it. Try to go into yourself and try to figure out that do you stick to one pattern in your personality, or you have different mediums, like you behave differently with different people in different situations. Is it going up and down, or is it one particular pattern you're following? What do you have to say?
Maybe up
Manjima?
and down.
Sorry?
Maybe it's going up and down. Like
So try to reflect, try to reflect what is your core. Do it again. Do not count and do it again when you're in a relaxed state, and see which one is your predominant pattern. And maybe if you stick to that pattern, it will help you eventually with your problem solving and approach towards life
okay, ma'am.
rather
Thank
than
you.
remaining confused. Okay? So do it once more.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay? So, any questions? I've sent the meanings of colors as well. Too much of red means aggressiveness or too much of passion, but more towards the aggressive side, where there's a lot of anger, a lot of too much of energy into the person, indicators of ADHD, ADD, or anger issues. Too much of pink again would indicate that the person is too emotional, too vulnerable to situations, too sensitive, okay, easily gets hurt. Orange is again a positive color, but if it's present predominantly, or you see orange color occurring more often, it is associated with a lot of stimulation and dynamic energy. Like you are always in the go, always motivated. You cannot sit still. Okay, too much of positivity is there. Yellow, if it's present in moderate conditions, it is a good indicator. But if it is too bright or there is too much of yellow on the sheet, maybe a big blob or all over the place, it may indicate some kind of fear, some kind of hiding tendencies. Green is a neutral color. It is an indicator of relaxation. The person is kind of relaxed, but at the same time, too much of green can also indicate that there's boredom and stagnation and there's no need to grow. Okay. And blue is related to low mood, lack of communication. If there is too much of blue, it can be a mundane, solemn life. Black, gray, brown, all those are indicators of boredom. Okay, violet is an indicator of imagination. If you have too much of violet or purple, it generally resembles some kind of escaping thoughts, maybe fantasy thoughts. You are daydreaming most of the time, which is also not good, especially for students. Okay, if you have too much of violet in your drawings or purple in your drawings, it may indicate that you're always in your dream world. You don't come in contact with reality. Fine. So this is the crux of analysis. You can implement this in other drawing techniques as well. Whichever drawing you get, if you have a free flow drawing, you can quickly start analyzing and understanding what the person, what are the styles of the person. Okay, so we are moving on to the next technique. We don't have much time. 15 minutes, good to go. What you need is one big sheet of paper. If you don't have a big sheet of paper, take 2, 3 papers, keep it handy. And this is an expressive art therapy technique, good for relaxation, good for bond building. If you're doing it in a group physically, it's the best way to do it. In case you have one-on-one sessions, you can always try it out. No harm in that. Okay, but it's a very good breaker. So I'll be playing some music in the background, right? This is a set of instructions. You just need to listen to the music and express on the paper. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. You just need to express through lines, through drawings, through doodles, through whatever you want. Okay? You need to express it on paper. Right? All ready with your material? Yeah. Just give me a second, please. Okay, so I'm starting. This is called dancing on paper because you literally dance on paper with your brushes. It's good if you have a fluid medium. If you don't have, that's okay. You can always try out with pencil colors or whatever mediums you have. Crayons will also do. Let's start then. Let me know if you can hear the sound, okay? Is it audible?
Can you please repeat the instruction again?
Okay, instructions is you have to listen to the music. Okay, there will be some different types of music being played, and you just need to express yourself on paper. Whatever you feel, you just put it on paper through art forms. Okay, you'll get just 30 seconds for each music, so you need to hurry up with the things. It's not a concrete drawing that you need to do. Okay, let's go. I hope the music is audible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's start. These three till now, which you have done, try to name them. Give it a name to these three music pieces, whatever artwork you have done. Try to give a name to each of these emotions and keep on doing that, the naming part further on. Okay, for all the emotions or all the sound pieces which you'll be hearing. So give it just a one word name. Okay, sorry, I had to cut off the music suddenly. I couldn't help it since it's virtual. But how are you feeling right now? Can you just write down in the chat, or maybe you can unmute and talk about it? How are you feeling? What are your feelings? This is what I did while the music was on, and I wrote a couple of words, whichever I could make out, meaning in. I'll post it in the group, but yours also I would like to see, like, and talk about your feelings more than anything else. We are not analyzing this.
Relaxing.
Okay, relaxing. That's great. Feeling more calm, refreshed. Yes, I'm glad that's supposed to happen to most of y'all. Some may get worked up a lot, listening to a lot of music, differences and all. Yeah, there you go. Confused, yes. Happy, refreshed, relaxed, calm. So most of you had this happy feeling inside and calm. Pressure, yes. Some of you may also get headache. Okay, I sometimes get headache whenever I'm doing too much of variations and sounds and a lot of scribbles on the paper. That's part of the process. The more you do it, the more insight you will get into your processes. Okay, something which you are drawing or some music piece may have caused you that conflict to get into a confused state or get you into a kind of discomfort. If that is happening, do it again with each music piece, whichever you have handy. Do it again and see which is causing you that trouble. Okay, so this is more elaborate than what I did. It takes approximately, say, half an hour to cover up all the music genres and the pieces. But I've just picked and choose a few parts of the music. And this is generally done on a huge sheet of paper together in a group. Each person has a different section to work on, or you have rolls of paper where you go on doing it. Like a toilet roll, which you have rolls of paper which you keep on painting and expressing yourself along with the beats of the music. This is a great group activity. So if you get a scope to conduct some workshops, even in your class also, if you can do it with a group of people, this actually works wonders. And once you are with the group, you're trying to figure out what they are doing. Over here, symbolic meaning is not important. How much you are involved, how much you are kind of venting out your emotions will be important. But the words also, if you've written certain words around the different shapes and patterns or the music piece, particular music piece, try to figure out how you feel about that particular music. Like, for instance, I've written happy and scattered, 2 words. Okay, and then I have written for a very peaceful music is self. Okay, so these might be indicators as to what your functioning is. So if you look into your own words and see what kind of genre of music you have attached with what kind of word, you'll be able to instantly get an insight how you feel about how you feel about that entire emotion. Say a very relaxed piece is supposed to relax you, but if you're writing I'm scattered or I'm bored, okay, if you're writing for that, if a relaxing piece is eliciting certain responses or words which are conflicting, you can always get into a more deeper analysis about yourself. That why do I feel relaxing can be boring? It can be that you are more into a lot of work, a lot of what do I say? You are a workaholic and you are enjoying yourself only working, not actually interacting with other people. Are you not interacting or are you not socializing? Okay, or are you only working throughout the day? So these will be good indicators. The word associations will be good indicators. If you can quickly take a picture and put it down. Okay, for people who are feeling confused, can I have a word with y'all? Like, what are you confused about, or what made you feel confused? That is important to know. Those who are feeling refreshed and calm, congratulations. Okay, but those who are not, can you just talk a little about it if you are willing to? Yes, Ragini? Your audio is not proper. Still can't hear. Srijan has also written pressure. So if you can talk about it a little.
Yes, ma'am. Pressure in the sense, first of all, I don't know what to draw. जो आपने बताया था, but I have drawn something on iPad. और मतलब जब म्यूजिक आ रहा था तो प्रेशर आ रहा था दिमाग में. या
Okay, so try to analyze. Okay, if that is the thing, maybe certain pieces of music you are not comfortable with. Okay, if you even come across a client who's facing this, as I told you before, you all responded that few people may get headache. Okay, few people may just feel discomfort. So if they are going through that, switch to some other medium. Do not involve them or do not force them to get into that particular method. Okay, discontinue there. There might be certain underlying conflicts through which the person is going through. So it's better not to explore at that moment. Okay, and if people are confused, try to sit with them one on one. As to, you have to give them assistance. This is the difference between an art therapist and a person who's just assisting you. If you are an art therapist, you need to sit down and try to figure out what caused the discomfort. What are the areas you need to look into? You need to look into each of the words the person has written. Then you go into the analysis part. Like, what can be the major reason behind the feeling of discomfort? And you have to follow it up with a relaxation technique. Okay, so relaxation techniques can be progressive relaxation or just creative visualization, where you take the person to a different plane altogether and then you start calming the person down. Okay, so you need to follow it up. So maybe you can do a little bit of breathing or deep breathing for people who have faced discomfort. Okay, otherwise, this is a good method, group method, where you can instantly get the group together. You can do it with children, you can do it with adolescents, you can also do it with your clients in order to open up with you. Okay, it's a good rapport building technique as well. Okay, O3, are you here? O3, are you here?
No, ma'am. Sorry, O3 is not here.
Okay. Tisa, you can just share the date of the other art therapy technique which he'll be teaching, which he'll be taking you through. So based on which your assignments will be given. Okay, so Tista, you can maybe announce it in the group once the session is over. Okay, for those who will be submitting assignments, you go through the technique once and then we'll give you certain things to work on. Okay, but do give it a try, both these techniques, with any one family member or your friend or whoever is there in your house or your surrounding, and see how things are coming up. Okay, any questions at this point? Any questions you would like to ask? Nothing? So we call it a day then?
Ma'am, which
Okay.
type of music can we use?
You can use different genres. Okay, I'll send you the URL of where you can download free music. You don't need to pay for it. So you can download these instrumental pieces There are different genres. You can start off with energetic music, you can start off with aggressive, metallic, heavy metallic music, and then move on to more of relaxing music. See, these are various emotional music pieces which you can use. It ranges from sad music to happy music to energetic ones to solemn ones to kind of a mixture, okay, traditional pieces as well. So you can go one by one. It would be good if you can merge the music pieces, or they are not abruptly cut off, but since it was online I couldn't much help it. So if you have a flow of music switching from one music to the other in a very gentle way, it will be the best. Okay, so try that out. I will send you the link of where you can download these music pieces. Right? Any other questions? So we'll be sending you the assignment options. There will be 2 to 3 of them. You can pick any one and work on it, and you do the same way. Okay? Okay, then all of you take care. Bye-bye. See you next week.
Okay, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.